Jeff Bezos was reportedly left speechless. A 20-year-old tennis star, a $5 million offer, and a decision so unexpected that it sent shockwaves across the sports world. What happens when one of the most powerful billionaires on earth comes face to face with a young athlete whose values outweigh any fortune? Welcome back to Top Contenders, where we uncover the stories the sports establishment would rather keep quiet. What you're about to hear isn't just surprising, it's redefining what integrity in sports looks like. Sources say this moment unfolded less than an hour ago behind closed doors during a private meeting in Seattle. A secret proposal, a massive check, a charity initiative backed by unimaginable wealth, and a response from Eala that money simply couldn't buy. Why would Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and one of the richest men alive, personally seek out a young Filipina tennis player? What exactly was offered? And what did she say that reportedly moved a billionaire to tears in front of his own executives? Stay with me, because this story goes far beyond tennis. To understand why this moment is resonating worldwide, you have to understand Eala's rise. The 2025 season hasn't just been good to her, it's been transformational. She didn't slowly climb the rankings, she burst through them. Breaking into the WTA top 50 wasn't an accident or a fluke. It was the result of relentless discipline, sacrifice, and a refusal to accept the limitations placed on her because of her background. A run at the Miami Open earlier this year turned heads across the tennis world. Expected to exit early, she instead dismantled one opponent after another, showing power from the baseline, fearless shot selection, and court coverage that left seasoned analysts stunned. By the time she reached the semifinals, it was clear this wasn't just a good tournament. This was a statement. A young woman from the Philippines, a nation rarely mentioned among tennis powerhouses, was standing toe-to-toe with the sports elite. And then came the moment that changed everything. At the Southeast Asian Games in Thailand, carrying the weight of a nation that had waited 26 years for gold, Eala delivered. When she struck the final winning point, it wasn't just a match victory. It was history, it was validation. It was proof that greatness isn't reserved for countries with legacy systems or endless funding. It can come from belief, grit, and heart. In the Philippines, that heart has a name. They call it puso. And Eala embodies it. By the end of 2025, Eala was no longer just a promising tennis player. She had become a symbol, a national hero, a reminder that talent paired with humility can move millions. And that, according to multiple insiders, is exactly what caught Jeff Bezos' attention. Sources close to Blue Origin say Bezos has been quietly watching tennis in his limited downtime, but he wasn't interested in established champions or headline stars. He was searching for authenticity, for athletes who represented something bigger than trophies, players whose stories carried meaning. In Eala, her relentless playing style, her composure under pressure, and her grounded presence off the court, he saw something rare. That led to one of the most extraordinary meetings in modern sports history. The location was no coincidence. Seattle, the city where Bezos built Amazon from the ground up. For this meeting, he returned to his roots. The venue, insiders say, was breathtaking, a newly built indoor tennis facility known internally as the Glass Court, transparent walls, futuristic design, a space that felt more like the year 2050 than the present. Built specifically for high-profile charity exhibitions, its construction reportedly cost tens of millions, and until now, almost no one knew it existed. Eala was flown in privately. According to people close to her team, she believed it was a routine appearance, a possible sponsorship discussion, maybe a short exhibition, nothing out of the ordinary for an athlete at her level. She had no idea she was about to sit across from one of the most powerful figures of the modern era. From the moment she arrived, something felt different. The security presence was heavier than usual. Conversations stopped when she walked by. Staff exchanged glances. There were whispers about major names involved, about something much bigger than tennis. Eala hadn't even stepped onto the court yet, and already the atmosphere told her this was no ordinary meeting. And what happened next is the part that's now shaking the world. Jeff Bezos was stunned. A $5 million offer rejected without hesitation, and the reason behind it is now sending shockwaves across the sports world. What happens when one of the most powerful billionaires on the planet comes face to face with a 20-year-old tennis star whose values outweigh any fortune. Welcome back to Top Contenders, where the most unbelievable stories in tennis come to life. Because what you're about to hear isn't just viral, it's redefining what sportsmanship truly means. Just minutes ago, details leaked from a private, invitation-only meeting in Seattle, a secret charity tournament, a jaw-dropping offer, and a response so unexpected that it reportedly brought Jeff Bezos to tears in front of his own executive team. This isn't a story about money, it's about character. To understand why this moment has captivated the internet, you need to understand Eala's rise. The year 2025 wasn't just good for her, it was transformational. She didn't quietly slip into the WTA top 50. She smashed through it with fearless tennis and relentless grit. Her Miami Open run stunned the sport. Written off early, she battled through round after round, outlasting established stars with explosive ground strokes, elite movement, and that unmistakable Filipino quality, puso, pure heart. By the time she reached the semifinals, the tennis world had no choice but to pay attention. Then came the Southeast Asian Games in Thailand. With an entire nation watching, Alex delivered a moment decades in the making, winning gold and ending a 26-year drought for Philippine tennis. That victory wasn't just a medal, it was history, validation, and inspiration wrapped into one. Eala was no longer just a rising player. She had become a symbol of possibility. And that's exactly what caught the attention of Jeff Bezos. According to sources close to Blue Origin, Bezos had been quietly watching tennis, not the usual superstars, but players with something deeper. Fighters, future leaders, athletes whose impact extended beyond rankings. In Alex, he saw authenticity, humility, and resilience. The meeting was arranged in Seattle, Bezos' home turf. The venue itself was astonishing, a futuristic, glass-walled indoor tennis facility insiders are calling the Glass Court, built specifically for elite charity events. It looked like something pulled straight from the year 2050. Most people didn't even know it existed. Alex arrived believing it was a routine promotional appearance. Sign autographs, smile for photos, hit a few balls. Instead, she walked into a room filled with executives, lawyers, and one of the most influential men alive. Unconfirmed reports even suggest Rafael Nadal, her longtime mentor from the Rafa Nadal Academy, personally supported the meeting and may be connected to the event itself. Then Jeff Bezos spoke. He unveiled his vision for an ultra-exclusive charity tennis tournament, not a celebrity exhibition, but a serious global event designed to raise hundreds of millions of dollars. The cause was clear: children battling life-threatening illnesses, cancer research, congenital heart disease, rare genetic disorders, families fighting impossible battles. To launch something of that magnitude, Bezos needed a face that symbolized hope. He turned to Alex. He told her he followed her journey, that her fight, her humility, her pride in representing her country embodied exactly what those children needed to see. Then he slid the contract across the table. $5 million. Just to play. The room went silent. For a young athlete from a developing nation, it was life-changing money, career-securing money, generational money. Everyone assumed it was done. Alex paused. She looked at the number, then she looked at Bezos. And instead of signing, she asked one simple question: could she speak freely? What followed left everyone speechless. Alex thanked him for the honor. She said she would be proud to play, proud to compete, proud to give everything she had on the court, but she couldn't accept the money. She said it didn't feel right to take $5 million to play a game she loves when that same money could save children's lives. She asked Bezos to put the entire amount directly into the charity fund, to build hospital facilities in the Philippines, to help families who can't afford treatment, to give real hope where it's desperately needed. That was the moment everything changed. Witnesses say Jeff Bezos broke down, not a polite nod, not a composed smile, real emotion. He turned away from the table to collect himself. One of the richest men in history, a man who negotiates billion-dollar deals without blinking, was moved to tears by a 20-year-old athlete who chose compassion over fortune. And in that moment, Eala didn't just win admiration. She won something far greater than money. In a world increasingly driven by greed, where athletes negotiate every last dollar and influencers chase every possible revenue stream, Eala did something almost unthinkable. She chose values over money, purpose over profit, and in that moment, she reminded everyone what sports are truly meant to represent. The fallout from that decision is still unfolding right now, and it's moving fast. Since details of the meeting leaked, social media has erupted. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, every major platform is flooded with reactions. The hashtag #Eala surged to #1 worldwide, overtaking major political and entertainment news within minutes. Filipino communities across the globe are celebrating with a level of pride that goes far beyond tennis. Parents are showing their children clips of Alex's matches while explaining why character matters more than cash. And fans who had never heard her name before today are now diving into her story, instantly turning into lifelong supporters. But the story doesn't stop there. Fresh reports are emerging, and if they're confirmed, this moment could spark a complete shift in how charity sports events operate. Sources connected to the tournament say Alex's decision has triggered a domino effect behind the scenes. Other potential participants, after learning what she did, are reportedly rethinking their own appearance fees. There are growing whispers, still unconfirmed, but increasingly credible, that legendary names such as Roger Federer and Serena Williams are now discussing whether they should waive their fees as well, in solidarity with Alex's stance. If that happens, think about what it means. Established icons worth hundreds of millions of dollars following the example of a 20-year-old player from the Philippines. That's not just a feel-good story, that's a cultural shift. And then came the moment that turned admiration into awe. Multiple sources now confirm that Jeff Bezos, deeply moved by Alex's refusal, made an immediate executive decision inside that conference room. Instead of simply reallocating the $5 million she declined, he instructed his team to double it. The original $5 million would be donated in Alex's name, and Bezos would personally match it with another $5 million. $10 million, generated instantly by one act of conscience. $10 million that will fund research, provide treatment, build facilities, and save lives. Witnesses say Bezos, still emotional, told his team that this was exactly what defined a true champion, that anyone can be taught how to hit a forehand, but soul, integrity, and character cannot be taught. So what does this mean for tennis and for sports as a whole? It's a reminder that at its best, sport transcends rankings and prize money. Eala spent her formative years training at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, learning under one of the greatest champions the game has ever known. Nadal is celebrated not only for his titles, but for his humility, respect, and character off the court. Today, Alex proved she learned far more than technique. She learned responsibility. She learned how to use a platform for good. This is Rafa Nadal's legacy, echoing into the next generation. The charity tournament itself is now shaping up to be one of the most significant sports charity events of the decade, not because a billionaire is funding it, not even because of the legendary names that may ultimately participate, but because it's anchored by a young Filipina athlete whose decision resonated with millions of people around the world. This story isn't about money, it's about values. And that's why it matters far beyond tennis. There are still many unanswered questions. Will the event be broadcast globally? Which players will ultimately step onto the glass court in Seattle? Will the donated funds build a hospital wing or medical facility in Alex's honor? And most importantly, how many children's lives will be changed because one athlete chose conscience over compensation? This is why we love sports, not just for trophies and rankings, but for moments like this, moments when character is revealed under pressure, when the right choice is made, even when the easy one is staring you in the face. Eala is only 20 years old, but she just delivered a masterclass in integrity that people twice her age could learn from. She's already inspiring the next generation of Filipino athletes, kids who now have proof that you don't have to compromise your values to succeed, that you can be competitive and compassionate at the same time, ambitious, yet deeply altruistic. The Philippines has always had reason to be proud of Eala for what she's achieved on the tennis court. But today, that pride runs deeper than rankings, trophies, or Grand Slam results. Today, they're proud of who she is as a human being. All right, Champions Tennis family, now I want to hear from you. What's your take on Eala's incredible decision? Be honest. Would you have had the strength to turn down $5 million in that moment? Do you think this could inspire other professional athletes to rethink how they approach charity events and how they use their platforms for good? And if you weren't an Alex fan before today, are you one now? Drop all your thoughts, reactions, and opinions in the comments below. I read every single one, and this is exactly the kind of conversation that makes this community special. If this story moved you even a fraction as much as it moved me, show your support by smashing that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story from Champions Tennis, where we bring you the news that matters, the stories that inspire, and the moments that remind us why tennis is more than just a game. We cover everything from the court to the heart, from match analysis to the human stories that define this sport. Until next time, keep that fighting spirit alive, keep supporting athletes who stand for something bigger than themselves, and keep swinging.